Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another real great Evangelion review, and we've taken a look at a few of these already, and you can tell from the fact that this is pretty much overlaid over the one behind it that this is very similar to what we've seen before. As for this of course is not a real grade kit, this is a robot Damashi figure, but one of you guys asked me on Instagram to include that in the video, so here we go. As usual, this video right here and all of these real great Evangelion reviews would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan. So if you want any of these of your own, I'll throw the links down there in the description. Now here we go. Oh! And I'll also mention that this time, I made sure to put on the ankle armor right. I've made that mistake over and over and over again throughout these reviews, so they're on right. Hopefully they'll stay on right. Now let's get to it. So jumping straight on into the overview of absolutely everything that comes in the box, you'll recognize a lot of this from the previously released real grade Evangelion kits. Pretty much, this kit is 90% the same as what we would have seen before. As for what we would have seen before, that's the pallet rifle as well as the progressive knives. A grand total of 14 swappable hands, that's the 12 there, and the 2 that are connected on there. We've got that entry plug, and then the umbilical cable, all of which we've seen before. Each one of these Evangelion kits comes with something exclusive in the box, and this time it is the sniper rifle or the super long rifle. This is all in grey with a couple of red clear parts, and we get 2 exclusive hands for holding onto this particular weapon, but we'll take a look at all those accessories a little bit later on. First, let's take a look at the Eva itself. Anyway, finally there is the Eva Unit-08α in all of its glory. This is just snap built, nothing else done whatsoever. I haven't put on any stickers, I haven't done any panel lining, I haven't done any cleanup, I have done nothing. These kits just look phenomenal with zero effort. Once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, real grade is quickly becoming, as far as I'm concerned, the best and the most premium line of plastic model kits, especially small-scale plastic model kits, that Bandai is making right now. But before I talk about how it looks, I'm going to talk a little bit about the build. I've never actually talked about the build of these particular kits too much in these videos, but if you build a lot of gunpla and find it's getting a little bit samey, or you want something a little bit different, that is exactly what these are, because they're based on what is essentially a giant humanoid biological alien thing in armor. They have a real anatomical feel about them, and it's less mechanical and more anatomical, which leads to a really unique build, well, unless you've built this 4 times. But still, to me, it's so unique it stays fresh. What's unique in here, of course, is that rifle, as well as the head, but everything else we've pretty much seen before. Hold on, wait, actually there are some stickers. I've put a couple of the silver stickers in there, just no decals or anything like that. And speaking of those decals, here they be! These are the usual real grade style stickers, which are a nice premium sticker, but they still are a sticker, so if you do use them, they do add some nice detail here and there, but you can notice the line around them when they're stuck on, and some of which, including the ones for up on the pylons up on the shoulders, I do feel obscures some of the detail. They are nice, but it will depend on your own personal tastes whether you like them or not. So there's the full squad together, and just like I said already, that these are all very similar, almost 80 to 90% identical, I would say, and Eva Unit 2 and the one we're looking at today, Eva Unit-08α, are pretty much identical besides their heads, and, of course, the color. Eva Unit 0 and Eva Unit 1 are a little bit more physically different than we would have seen with that other 2. Eva Unit 0 right here, that features a completely different head, a different torso, and the color scheme is laid out in a completely different sort of way. But it is the iconic Eva Unit 1 over here that is the most different of the bunch. It features a completely different chest, a very different head, and different fronts to the shoulder pylons. And speaking of different shoulders, Eva Unit 0 here does include these no pylon shoulders in the box, but there is pylons in there if you want to look a little bit more like 8 and 2 here. And speaking of Eva Unit-08α's unique head, just look at that green! The whole sculpt here is fantastic, the whole look is off the wall awesome, but it's that green popping off of that purple which blows my mind. That is the coolest shade of hazy clear green I have ever seen. That is so effective. Absolutely mesmerizing to look at. Unless you have tryptophobia, and then it might start getting a little bit weird. There is also clear red inside of that white part right there, but it is a little hard to see, but it is in there, which is cool. When you guys on Instagram asked me to compare it to a robot Damashi figure, there is the beta, this is the alpha, and this is the beta. And all I can say is I assume something absolutely ridiculously horrendous happens to Eva Unit 8 right here. It looks like it's missing its arms. Well, it's definitely missing its arms. A lot of its torso seems really screwed up, and it's got some kick-ass runners. The legs are completely different, the crotch is completely different, so something tells me we'll never be getting a model kit of this because it doesn't share enough parts with the other ones, but still, cool design, a little bit smaller than the real grade right here, but both look fantastic in their own ways. It's kind of a case of, do you like color-separated plastic parts, or parts that are painted like this right here, and that is a nice metallic green on that robot Damashi. There it is side by side with the last Gundam related real grade that was released, which is the mind-blowing real grade Zeong. Absolutely highly recommend that kit. It is fantastic. Both of these came out in the exact same week, making it a ridiculously good week for plastic models. And there it is side by side with the real grade that came out before that, which is the real grade Force Impulse Gundam. Another fantastic kit. But as you can see, when it comes to scale, or should I say actual size, of plastic models, the real grade Evangelion kits are quite bigger than real grade Gunpla. There it is beside the master grade, just so you can get the gist. Anyway, finally there's that full 360-degree spin so you can see absolutely every angle of this kit in case there's something you wanted to see that I forgot to mention. Also, I will not be doing any articulation in this video because it's exactly the same as what we saw in the last 3 Evas, so if you want to see the articulation of this kit, check out Eva Unit 1. But because I'm not doing the articulation, I'll put it in a bunch of different poses to showcase just how awesome and how fun these particular kits are. They're great fun to pose. Sure, they are a little bit delicate, so be careful with them, but hey, I haven't broken one of them yet, so they're not that delicate. Once again, fantastic kits, look awesome, pose up a storm. Now let's check out what comes in the box with it. So now moving on to the accessories and jumping back to the beginning of the review where I took an overview look at everything in the box, let's take a look at everything now, one at a time. So now moving on to taking a look at those hands, and we've got some widespread super dynamic, some widespread relaxed, some punchy fists, those iconic Evangelion running hands, and the rest of the hands in here then are for holding the various weapons, which are the pallet rifle, which is pretty much exactly the same, what am I saying, pretty much exactly the same as what we would have seen with the other kits. The only thing that's different is the color of the ammo belt inside of it, which once again would be the same as the one that came with Eva Unit 2. The other weapons that come in here that we've seen before are the pallet knives right here. Did I say pallet knives? I mean progressive knives. Once again, these are all in the one color. You'll have to paint them to be color accurate. There are some stickers, but they're not great. They also come as folded variants, which can be tucked away quite nicely up here inside of the pylons, just like so. Tucked away for use at the first sign of danger. These hands are rubbery with a ball joint attachment, and anything for holding the weapons are that sandwich style where you detach the fingers from the back of the hand, throw the weapon in the middle like the ham in a sandwich, and then both parts of the hands go together on top of that like the bread. As for the other accessories, we've got the entry plug. There is this sticker in here, number 14, for making it look a little bit more entry plug-like, but I don't recommend putting this on if you want to stick it in, because it can actually gum up the mechanism and get stuck in there, so that opens up. Simple as cutting away the video for a second to figure it out, then sliding it on in there and closing that all back up. We also have the umbilical cord, which is on a big old strong flexible piece of wire. But let us move on to the accessory which makes this kit unique, which is that super long rifle. So super long really is no joke, and sometimes I feel these videos don't do length very much justice. So there it is side by side with the Eva itself, and there it is beside a high-grade Gundam, so this is a very long rifle. And finally there it is next to the positron cannon that came with the DX version of Eva Unit 0, so that's a long rifle. Because this is all just in grey plastic besides those lenses, it's deceptively simple looking. There's a lot of parts that make this up, and it is incredibly detailed. It looks fantastic. Like I mentioned, there is some clear red parts for the lenses in that fantastic clear red we've seen throughout this line so far. And once again, although it is all in grey, it is incredibly detailed and looks cool. Also included in this set is a pair of unique hands for using with this rifle. Attaching them is simple because they only attach on one way. They'll hold down very tight and everything works very well. Attaching them into the arms then is simple too, and that right there is what we end up with. So I can't help but feel that I think the length of the barrel there is kind of starting to bow downwards with the weight of whatever this thingamajig here is at the back. It looks like a bunch of thrusters on the barrel, maybe to counteract recoil or something. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's all in my mind, I don't think it is. That barrel right there is starting to arc a little bit in the center downwards because of the weight of that. However, the whole thing is balanced incredibly well. It's able to hold that rifle up and stand up, no bother whatsoever. Mainly because these kits tend to try and fall backwards a bit. This evens out that balance quite a bit. Yeah, that right there, pretty awesome rifle. So as for some of the things this can do, the scope here is on a rail, so it can slide off, be disconnected like so. Underneath that we have this opening segment right here, which I assume has something to do with the ammo, maybe heat regulation, something like that, but we've got some internal detailing in there. And the front handle section can open up like so. Once again, I have no remembrance of what this is for. Maybe it's just for adjusting the grip. Maybe it helps eject spent cartridges. Maybe it's a pump action shotgun. I don't know. That last one was a joke. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is the same absolutely awesome real grade Evangelion model kit greatness right here. EVA Unit-08α brings exactly what we would have seen before in those cool Marie colors, with that new absolutely killer head design and a big old awesome sniper rifle. At this point you know what you're getting with one of these kits. I hope they bring out something a little bit different for the real grade Evangelion line so we get something a little bit fresh, but still these are fantastic. If you've built them, love them so far, I say go for it. If you have not built one yet, I still highly recommend you give one a try. Even if you don't like Evangelion, they're just such good model kits. That of course makes this Gundarium tier as well, because the whole line has been Gundarium tier so far, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but they are that good. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. I'll throw the links to all of these particular kits in case you're planning on picking one up. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more model kit reviews, and I'll see you next time. As usual, I cannot end this video without all my thanks to all of you who support me on the channel memberships, as well as over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Tyler Sanders, the Ambassador for Asymmetric Cats, Caleb Engelhart, and Sean T.